Hello, good people. This is Dr. Darnise going live, really going live. Sometimes I go live and then upload later. And right off the bat, I remember that I left my headset. So hope the sound is okay um, and all that. Well, I wanted to come on here and just give some updates. So, one, I want to say that the Hoodoo Tarot giveaway is complete. I did give it away to someone in our community and who joined on Instagram, and her name is Lenore. I won't put her whole name here in case she would not want that. But hey, people, hi! Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Um, yeah, so that Hoodoo Tarot giveaway is complete. Lenore received her deck, and I'm so glad to be able to give it and to share it. That was in honor of Hoodoo Heritage Month, which October is Hoodoo Heritage Month. And so I wanted to share something with the community, and yeah, like that. Um, I also encourage you all to join me on Instagram. My Instagram name is at Dr. Darnise because I'm sharing more there in terms of Black women's spirituality, specifically Black women's self care, that kind of thing. Like, usually on Sundays, I'll do a quick video and it'll just be like one tip or something, like 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes kind of a thing. So, if you want to hear from me there, just join me on Instagram. And then today I did it about hair. You can see I cut my hair shorter. It was like that, like you see in my book, where I had, more of a thing going on. Let me see if I can prop this up a little bit. Oh, I still have my mask hanging up on the wall. That's my mask. I thought I lost my mask, and I found it in the car under the seat. And so I brought it in the house to wash it and then put it by the window. And there it is. So for the world to see. Anyway, yeah, so I cut my hair. I was wanting to do a sleek look. So I even left a little more on top than I initially thought I would. And the barber was like, well, why don't we just go gradual at first? And I said, oh, yeah, you're probably right. So that's what we're doing. I may cut more, but I don't know. Why? I did try to color it. That was a fail today. But anyway, the point is, I was making this comment about Black women and how tied we are to our hair a lot of times, tied to a lot of different things. But for one thing, hair is an issue for us, like political, it's personal, it's, emotional. A lot of Black women would never cut their hair off, right? They add hair, buy weaves and whatever. And I'm not hating, you should do you. But for a lot of us, we just would not cut our hair because we've been, our hair has just been such an issue over the centuries, really. And you think about, well, I just say for my grandmother, she would have hated it because, for her, success meant that, you could finally wear your hair pressed and curled and be pretty, right? That's what, success kind of looked like to her because she grew up in Georgia on a farm and had to keep her hair braided, and then when they went to church she could have her hair undone and wear it out, and that was considered leisure and pretty, as opposed to braiding it, that meant work, or cutting it off so you're bald headed, like she would say, oh, now you're bald headed. But anyway, that's one of the things that we got to get free about. The other thing we need to get free about is our spirituality. And so, as I said on Instagram, I do these little talks about that as well. Like, what does it mean to get free in terms of your spirituality? Um, you don't have to be the religion your grandmother was, or that she would expect you to be, or somebody else expects. It's okay to have questions about spirituality. Somebody asked me recently, she's kind of going through awakening to her own spiritual gifts, let's put it that way. And she said, well, how do I reconcile this with Christianity? Because, I'm a Christian, but I'm kind of afraid. I don't know if I should really explore these things. And I was like, well, one, you don't have to be a Christian, but you can be a Christian and integrate your gifts. These are God-given gifts. And, there are lots of people in the Bible with all kinds of gifts and all this. It's too much to go into right now. Maybe that's another topic for another day about how the Bible actually affirms honoring our ancestors, or different kinds of magic that's in the Bible. You can let me know if you're interested in that, but that's a whole other conversation. But okay, so what I also wanted to do is talk about a couple of things. What do you think about, so for Halloween, we'll be wrapping up Hoodoo Heritage Month, and just to have some kind of community thing, or, something fun. Um, uh, I can't see if that was your name, Janelle. Janelle, all right, thank you, Janelle. Um, what do you think? I thought this is what we could do together. I would come on next weekend, and I don't know what day is best, because next Sunday, that's Halloween. I should know what date it is. I think it's next Sunday is Halloween. And so some of y'all might have plans for, like, maybe you having something for the kids in your house or somebody else's house. But I thought I want to get together here live, and I'm going to do it with whoever shows up with me. I'm going to get up and do a live next weekend, next Saturday or Sunday, and talk about the film Eve's Bayou. Have you seen Eve's Bayou? There's a lot going on in that film, that really talks to these kind of spiritualities, and magic, hoodoo, voodoo, putting roots on somebody, all that kind of stuff that I talk about here. So what I would like to suggest to you, to encourage you, is, I know I haven't seen it in a while, so I'm going to watch it again this week at some point, maybe tonight, because Lord knows once the week gets started, it's crazy. My schedule is too much. So maybe tonight I will rewatch Eve's Bayou so that I can come on here, or maybe I'll watch it next Friday night. I'll come on here and talk about the magic and the hoodoo that's in Eve's Bayou. So it'll just be a community conversation. Whoever is available and wants to join me, let's just say next Sunday afternoon. Will that work, or should we do it Saturday evening? Because maybe you're planning some kind of trick or treating. I don't know how you're going to do trick or treating, but maybe, among people, I don't know. I saw a meme, somebody was showing, like, bobbing for apples. I said, bobbing for apples is over forever. Like, who even thought that was a good idea back in the day? A bunch of people spitting in the same barrel and trying to pick up an apple with your mouth. It's already nasty, but we did it. We did it back in the day. But the Corona says, thou shalt never be bobbing for apples anymore. And even with your own family members, right? I know I'm late, but what do you think about Lovecraft Country? Okay. Nasty, Janelle said, yeah, I know, bobbing for apples was never a good idea. Um, anyway, but you might be planning something, whatever you might, if you have children or participating with some other children, you want to do some sort of candy and costume thing in your own house or at your grandma's house or something. So I'm trying to maybe do it earlier in the day, early afternoon. I'm in California, so I'm in Pacific time, but early in the day. So if you do have other plans, you still can get to that with your young people. But I just thought it would be fun. Of course, you can always catch the replay of this. That we would watch Eve's Bayou, and then I would come on here and we could have some conversation. And somebody just asked me about Lovecraft Country. Well, I haven't seen it. I know. I know. I'm getting ready to watch it. The reason is because I don't have HBO. I've been like, oh, I gotta get it. I gotta get on it, right? And I was like, okay, I gotta clear out my space so I can even think about that. I really need an assistant. I'm at the point now I need an assistant. I don't have one. Watch it online free. Where, Janelle? Lovecraft Country? Or are you talking about Eve's Bayou? Somebody asked me about Lovecraft. Because I just got an answer to my question, actually. I just got a thing from Hulu, because I do have Hulu, and they're saying upgrade so that I can include HBO Max. So that's what I was planning to do. It's like, oh, okay, I'll get it through Hulu, and then I'll be able to catch up on Lovecraft Country and everything. Brokensilence.net. Okay, thanks, Janelle. That's not going to break my whole computer and internet, right? That's not going to like put all kinds of viruses on my computer, is it? But thank you for that. Let me write that down. Silence. I don't know. Okay. Oh, I'm jiggling the camera. Okay, so that's one thing. Watch Eve's Bayou and join me next weekend. We can have some good, fun conversation about that. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, this is kind of a little bit random, but bear with me. I've been seeing all these conversations about, oh, I know why, about Cleopatra. So apparently, the actress Gal Gadot has been cast for Cleopatra or is under consideration for it. And so some people are mad that she's been cast because she's not a dark, a brown skinned, black woman. So here's the scholar in me. Y'all, we don't need to be worried about Cleopatra. I know we are so hungry for our history, and rightfully so. And I'm here to bring our history and make it relevant for us and make it real. And not only just for us, but for the world. Because really, what I consider myself to be doing, and some of my colleagues, we have to re educate the world about the African contribution. Because our history is so whitewashed. It is literally so whitewashed that people don't know anything about Africa other than, post-colonial, enslavement and poverty and destitution, right? Like across the whole continent. And so I just sometimes ask people just to see the reaction I'll get. Is there when I say to you, pre-colonial Africa, what comes to mind? I just ask people because I'm kind of doing my own sort of informal research. When I say pre-colonial Africa, what comes to mind? And some people will say ancient Egypt or nothing. They'll be like, I don't know. Like no match is found because the whitewashing has been so thorough that we can't even think before the colonizer got to Africa. So, with this whole Cleopatra conversation about us wanting to claim her as black, okay, I just have to say we have to let that go because she was part of the colonizing factor. She's descended from the Ptolemies, the Ptolemaic dynasty, the Greeks. And granted, she might have been mixed race. She might have been, but she might not have been because the royals, intermarried and all of that. And so my point in all this, because some people may say, well, Africa is Egypt, and Egypt is Africa, and therefore she must have been black. Well, see what happened was the colonizer came in about 300, or at least by 300 BCE, before the Common Era. And when they came, they changed up the game. But typically, because of the way our education works, we think that that's where we started, so to speak. Because again, we haven't been taught. So I'm here to remind us that by 300, 350 BCE, we have already had multiple African civilizations rise and fall, rise and fall. So if you're looking for where are the black people, we were already there. And by the time you get to the Greeks and the Romans being involved in Northern Africa, Egypt, black Africans had already been there, been doing the thing. So if Cleopatra is presented as a non-brown skinned woman, that represents the Ptolemies who came to Egypt late. They came late. But because we don't know, we think, oh, that's when we were kings. No, by that time, unfortunately, the colonization was at hand. So it would be like if we think about the United States and we think about the Europeans coming to the United States and we think about somebody like George Washington, let's just say, or Thomas Jefferson. And somebody said, well, I want to make a movie about the founding of the United States or something. And they cast a white man to play Jefferson or Washington. And then somebody said, but that's not the original people of the Americas. No, it wasn't the original people of the Americas, but those were the colonizers who came. So my point, we as Black people, we don't have to have Cleopatra. We don't have to try to own Cleopatra, that imagery, because she was the part of the colonizing class and rulers who came in. Let us know about what came before. That's what I'm about. That's what I'm doing, is trying to help people understand. We were here a long time before that. We're the original people on this planet. And if we just want to go back to like 3500 BCE, where we start getting, record of certain dynasties and the pharaohs, who we call the pharaohs, go back to 3500 BCE. Google, if you want, the 25th dynasty of Egypt. We going way back, way back. 3500 BCE or 350 BCE. 3500, we already were great. We were great before that. Great. So by the time we get to sort of the end of the race, meaning the colonizers were present, we can acknowledge that's when the colonizers were present. But it doesn't mean we don't have anything. We've been had stuff. And even the Greeks and Romans knew we've been had it, because they're there trying to get some of it. It's like today, even when certain people refer to Africa as like shithole countries. Am I saying I'll say that on YouTube? I don't know. But you know who said it. And it's like, that comes from not understanding anything about Africa. And that's worldwide. That's worldwide. I want to learn the history. How was that allowed for so long? I was wondering if they can do a 23andMe. So when we think about I'll say it this way, when certain people call Africa, all the countries of Africa, right, that if it was so destitute, if Africa has nothing, why all these Europeans been there? What they doing there? Africa don't have nothing. It's impoverished. Those people are broke, uncivilized. There's nothing there. Why those Europeans been there for centuries? Why they fight each other to be in Africa? Fight, knock down, drag out, kill each other over the ability to colonize Africa. Because that's where all the good stuff is. That's where the riches of the planet are. The gold, the diamonds, the platinum, the chocolate, the coffee, like us as labor. Because they recognize the value of Africa. They have just told the world, oh no, there's nothing there. Don't look over here, look over there. Nothing to see here, nothing to see here, while I loot Africa. Right? So I consider it to be my job. I guess I came in to do that and to share with the world. Look, Africa has everything. We are, Jesse Jackson once said, we are somebody, we come from something. So let us not get so concerned about, sometime late in history when the Greeks came, when the Romans came. Let's just acknowledge that, yes, colonization happened in Africa. The Greeks came, the Romans came, and they copied a lot of what they saw from ancient Kemetic societies, Egyptian, Egyptian. Egypt is even a Greek word. And somebody asked a few minutes ago, how has it been allowed to go on for so long? Because they've done such a great job at whitewashing history and telling us that we're nothing and telling the world that we're nothing. They've done a unfortunately an outstanding job of it. That yesterday I participated in a webinar. I mean, I didn't participate. I listened. I was learning from some colleagues of mine who, well, one of them, he runs the Amun Ra Theological Seminary, Amun Ra Theological Seminary, and he had a program that was last Saturday and then yesterday. And the person he had on to teach was a phenomenal sister. She's a professor at the University of Chicago, and she was trained as an Egyptologist. And so she was giving her presentation was called Black is Queen. You heard Black is Queen. And so, she went in to do a lot of give us great information about the whole Nubian Valley and Nile Valley, Egypt, all of that whole the Nubian Valley, the Nile Valley. And so, because she's been trained though as an Egyptologist, she acknowledges like a lot of my training, she said, is Eurocentric. Because believe it or not, the study of Egypt, Egyptology is pretty much a Europeanized discipline. Even those who are studying Egypt as professionals and scholars ignore the African. They just flat out ignore it. And even though I knew that, and even though they know that, my fellow, my colleagues, other professors, we know it, but when you're seeing it and you're watching a presentation, you're like, how could this be? How could it go on for so long that the African is just ignored, flat out ignored? I mean, when you look at the languages that are represented on various inscriptions, when you look at the depictions of people, on the inscriptions, when you understand what culture infused what culture, it's obvious. Like Nile Valley, all this stuff comes from the Sudan, right? It comes from the people they call Ethiopian. It comes from Black people feeding into Egypt or Kemet. So when you're doing that research, so that level of research, that level of archaeology and language work, it's obvious, but it's also obvious that Egyptology is very Eurocentric, and those scholars are really invested in keeping it Eurocentric. So somebody who's interested in actually studying about the Blackness of ancient Egypt, if we want to just say it that way, you have to study Nubiology. It's like another subdiscipline, Nubiology, Nubian studies. And that's, like I said, almost a separate discipline where you have to pretty much state that you're looking at the Black people of Africa. Which I always think, what other race, what other ethnic group in the world has to prove that they are present on their own continent or in their own country? African people are almost made to have to prove that we come from Africa, or that we were there. We have to prove that. And I think, who else? Do the Chinese people have to prove that these people depicted in ancient artwork are Chinese? Who else has to prove that they come from, Ireland, and there's white people in Ireland? But somehow or another, for African people, we have to prove that we were in Northern Africa. Like, what kind of sense does that make? We have to prove we were in Northern Africa. So anyway, my point is that this sister, her name is Dr. Solange Ashby. Solange, like Beyonce's sister, Dr. Solange Ashby. And she did a great job. Just her presentation, her level of professional training, her language work, is amazing. It's really amazing. And so I'm very heartened to see her and to know that there are other African people around the world doing the study of Nubian studies to locate the blackness of Africa, even the blackness of Northern Africa, and to talk about how Kemetic culture, which is Egyptian, infused its way even into West Africa, into Ghana, into Nigeria. So that's how I spend my free time, y'all, is studying this stuff because I'm just like that. But anyway, this started because I was talking about Cleopatra and seeing how upset people are on social media about Gal Gadot being tapped to play Cleopatra. And I just want to say to us, let them have her if they want to. What we need to be about is telling the world of our glory in Africa, not competing with the Greeks for when they became colonizers, except to say, hey, we remember that y'all are colonizers, and by the way, you really started appropriating culture back then, misappropriating, thieving, stealing, looting back then, copying and pasting our stuff, our art, our religion. You know, that Christianity looks a lot like Kemetic spirituality. Ooh. Yeah, Asar, Aset, and Heru. Wow, the Holy Family. So let me see. Is there anything else I want to come on here and say? I don't think so. I think I might wrap this up. Um, I'll just say again, if you're interested in joining me for our Eve's Bayou talk, if you were not here earlier when I was talking about this, I'm going to watch Eve's Bayou, the film Eve's Bayou. And next weekend, I'll come on again live and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the hoodoo, talk about the African magic in it. I hope you save this, please. Somebody said, uh, thank you again. I appreciate y'all being here. Wow, 10 people. I'm glad because I don't usually go live. And so it's interesting. I'm just talking into this camera, so it's weird. But so I appreciate your feedback. Yeah. And as I said, if you want to join me on Instagram, my handle over there is at DrDarnise's. I struggle with Instagram because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I think it's an age generation gap. I'm like, how do I even do this? Forget something like TikTok. I have to ask my students, my college students, y'all. I just be like, how do you do this? I'm really enjoying my Hoodoo Tarot deck. Cool. Me too. I enjoy mine too. Even just looking at the pictures. I just like to look at it. Thank you, Noni. And you know what? The channel is growing. This channel is growing. We're almost at 2,000 people. I know for some big influencers, they got like hundreds of thousands or, of people. And I'm here with my 2,000. But I appreciate my 2,000. I appreciate people who stop what they're doing to watch my videos or anything. So I appreciate y'all. And yeah, so let's make a date. I will also put like a community, what do you call those things? A post in our community tab, as a reminder. But yeah, so next weekend, what I didn't even just say today. So in my community, in my post, I'll say which day it's going to be. So Saturday or Sunday, or y'all can leave in the comments here which day would be better, Saturday or Sunday. Because again, people might have something going on, some kind of home parties for Halloween if you're into that kind of thing. Oh yeah, speaking of which, um, I should have changed this out. I did mention to y'all like Halloween. The Halloween season is a good time to get your black candles. It's a good time to get your orange candles because the stores generally have a lot of them. I have one. Why is it stuck in here? I have one here, and I'm going to start lighting them this week as we get closer to Halloween because that's when the veil becomes thinner, y'all, between, the physical and the non-physical. If you have an altar, make sure you, clean it and, light a candle, put out some fresh water, some food maybe, and get ready to have like a little reunion with your people, your own family members. And so it's good to have black candles. Oh, this one's scented too. It's good to have black candles just for protection, your black stones, onyx, obsidian, the what else did I forget? The other black stone, that's a tourmaline, black tourmaline. It's good to collect these things, and it's hard generally to find orange candles for a lot of people. So again, because Halloween colors are black and orange, it can be easier during the season to find those candles. So that was just a reminder, and I'm gonna go now, and I will see y'all next weekend. Oh goodness, now how do I even get off here? Okay, bye for now. Thanks for joining.